You've probably got a first aid kit at home for a cut or a scrape, right? Of course. But what about for a really bad day? Or for those times you feel completely and totally overwhelmed? Well, in this explainer, we're going to build exactly that, a first aid kit for your emotions. We'll stock it with some simple but really powerful tools to help you navigate pretty much anything life throws at you.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about that feeling of being overwhelmed. Then we'll get into what coping strategies actually are. After that, we'll stock our kit with 5 essential tools, figure out the best way to organize them, and finally, bring it all together so you can build your very own emotional first aid kit.
Okay, first up, feeling overwhelmed. We really have to start here because, let's be honest, stress is universal. Everybody feels it. It's that pressure, that feeling of having way too much on your plate. And it's this common problem that makes having a good toolkit so incredibly important.
Let's make this personal for a second. Just think back. When was the last time you felt really, truly stressed out? What did you do about it? Did you go for a run, call up a friend to vent, or maybe you just collapsed on the sofa and binged your favorite show? You know, whatever you did, you were already using a coping strategy. You just might not have called it that.
See, we've all figured out ways to deal with stress. And that brings us perfectly to our second section, where we're going to give those actions a proper name: coping strategies. So let's break down what these actually are.
To put it simply, coping strategies are just the techniques we consciously use to manage the tough stuff. You know, all those challenging situations, stressful moments, and difficult emotions. They're the intentional things you do to handle everything from a rough day at work to a huge life change. And why is it so important to be intentional about this? Because good coping isn't just about feeling a little better for a minute. It's about taking back a sense of control. And that feeling of being in control, that's what actively dials down your stress, which, by the way, has a real, measurable impact on both your mental and your physical health. It's a total game changer.
All right, now for the fun part. It is time to start stocking our emotional first aid kit. Let's dive into 5 really practical, proven tools that you can start using like today.
What's so powerful about these is just how simple they are. I mean, take deep breathing. It's not just about relaxing. It literally sends a signal to your nervous system that it's okay to calm down. Physical activity? That gives you a natural mood boost from endorphins. Mindfulness and meditation? They pull you into the present moment, so you're not stuck worrying about the past or the future. And things like music or positive self-talk can completely interrupt a negative thought spiral and shift your emotional state almost instantly. They're not complicated, but man, are they effective.
So we've got our tools, but to use them well, we need to know when to use them. And that means we need to organize our toolkit. The best way to do that is by understanding the 2 main kinds of coping: approach versus avoidance.
This slide lays out the 2 paths perfectly. On one side, you've got approach coping, which is all about focusing on the problem. This is where you're tackling the issue head-on, making a plan, asking for advice. Then, on the other side, you have avoidance coping, which is emotion-focused. Here, the goal isn't to fix the problem itself, but to manage how you feel about it, like accepting a tough situation or watching a movie to de-stress. And look, neither one is better than the other. You absolutely need both. Now, I know the word avoidance can sound a little negative, but it's actually a super important skill. It's the perfect strategy for those situations that you just cannot change. Think about it. You can't change a test score you've already gotten, but you can change how you feel about it. And that's when managing your emotions becomes the most powerful tool you have. Okay, so we have the tools and we have a system for organizing them. Now, let's put it all together and really look at the big idea here: building your personal emotional first aid kit. And really, it all comes down to this one powerful idea. Having coping strategies is like having a first aid kit for your emotions. The more tools you have, the better you can handle life's challenges. The goal isn't to find that one magic bullet that fixes everything. It's about being prepared, with a bunch of different tools ready to go for whatever life decides to throw your way.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this question. Of all the tools we talked about, deep breathing, positive self-talk, mindfulness, is there one you don't really use that often? What's one new tool you're going to consciously add to your emotional first aid kit starting today?